For the second straight year, number 1 and number 2 in Class 2A boys hoops square off for an epic battle. North Community High School is where this battle will take place. The Minneapolis North Polars host the two-time defending Class 2A state champion, Minnehaha Academy Redhawks. Hi everyone, I'm Mike Peden, joined by Marshell Cook. Marshell, these two schools have played each other for several years, so there's a rivalry between these two, but when you have number 1 and number 2 for 2 years in a row, that adds a little something extra.
Yeah, it does, and hopefully they'll be seeing each other in sections later on.
Actually, they would play in state. They're in separate sections.
Well, state.
Yes, that was supposed to happen, or that was the dream matchup a year ago, but Brooklyn Center in Section 5 spoiled those plans, upsetting Minneapolis North. Of course, the Redhawks went on to win the title. That being said, it's a brand new year, and for Minneapolis North, there were some questions on how they would progress after Tre Holloman transferred to Cretin-Derham Hall. So far, they look pretty fine.
Pretty solid to me.
And that's because they have the likes of Eli Campbell, Devon Townley, Nasir El-Amin. Who should we keep an eye on at North tonight?
I think we should keep an eye on Willie Wilson, Eli Campbell, like you said, Nasir El-Amin, like you said. They have a new center. His name is Josh Hodges, so hopefully we'll see more out of him too.
And you had a chance to see them on Saturday in their loss to Wasika. They came back from 23 down, almost won it.
Yep.
What's going to be the key tonight for North to beat a high-caliber team?
Stay on their feet, maintain a good pace, and hopefully win this game.
Minnehaha won't make that easy, though. They're the defending 2A champs for a reason. Only 2 losses this year, both against Hopkins. They've got the wondrous extraordinaire Jalen Suggs, Chet Holmgren among the state leaders in blocks, Prince Aligbe having a tremendous freshman season. This Minnehaha Academy team is not to be messed with.
Neither is North.
Then there's North. So how excited are you to watch Jalen Suggs play tonight?
I'm very excited. I'm really excited. I don't know what I'm going to expect because you never know what you're going to get out of him.
Well, depending on how this game goes, I would expect a lot of showtime flashiness, but a high-intensity battle. We'll come back for the tip-off. This is high school boys basketball. Welcome back to North Community High School. Mike Peden alongside North graduate Marshell Cook, who will wear a St. Thomas uniform next year when she's eligible to play.
Yep.
Marshell, you caught up with a few friendly faces around here. I see there's one in front of you as well.
Yep.
What would you make of the support for the Polars? Well, I've covered the boys for the last several years, and ever since Larry McKenzie rebuilt this program, we may not have a sellout like tonight, but North games became events like they did way back in the 90s.
Yes, they have extremely, tremendously. McKenzie came my freshman year, and that's when I started seeing a lot of people start rolling in, a lot.
Now, this is the first time that I've covered a North game, that we've been here, since the passing of Ben Coleman, who graduated in 1980. I take that back, didn't graduate in 80, graduated a bit sooner, but had an outstanding college career in Minnesota and Maryland. And we've got the hype video played. North has been making some renovations to their athletic facilities over the last several years, and one of them, the addition of a video board.
Yeah, they just recently got this last year.
Right.
I think it's a great addition to the school, too.
Yes, and your old buddy Tisa Mitchell, who's now at Cretin, told me what she was looking forward to the most. Same with me. You'll always know how much time is on the clock, because last year I did a North Hopkins double overtime thriller, and there was a situation where the clock hit 0. North thought they had won the game. I think it was the first overtime, but there was a foul before the buzzer. The problem was the clock, the old one, couldn't read tenths of a second.
Yeah.
Not an issue anymore.
Yeah, I remember when I was going there, the old scoreboard used to go in and out.
So let's take a look at the starting five for the Polars. It will be Omar Brown, number 1, Eli Campbell, number 2, Nasir El-Amin, number 12, Willie Wilson, number 24, and Devon Townley Jr., number 35. Minnehaha starting Jalen Suggs, number 1, Caden Johnson, number 2, Prince Aligbe, number 10, Chet Holmgren, number 34, and Siegel Howard, number 44.
It's going to be a great matchup.
It always is. Last year was a sellout when these two played. North won that one 62-53, hit a bunch of free throws late. Jalen Suggs fouled out of the game, which was a huge turning point.
It was. I was at that game.
So was I. And so was our old buddy Tisa. She was calling it with me. But back then you had the likes of Taylor Johnson, who's now at UNI. Tre Holloman was an 8th grader. Now he's at Creighton-Durham Hall. So a few new faces at North. But these two schools, they played each other for several years. This series has gone back and forth. North has won the majority of those matchups. But anytime you get number 1 and number 2, it's a date you circle on the calendar. And it's rare that you get number 1 and number 2 2 years in a row. Well, these two schools have held the top 2 spots all season.
Yes. It's going to be a very competitive and intense game, but it's going to be a great game to watch.
And both schools, this is normal. They schedule tough. North having a little bit of trouble, and Townley stepped out of bounds. Minnehaha, we talked about all the top-level teams they played. Austin, they'll play De La Salle on Saturday. North tonight. They played Hopkins twice. Minneapolis North, they have an annual series with Hopkins. They faced Caledonia, won that one in overtime. They played Waseca on Saturday, lost that one by 13. Waseca, the number 1 team in Class 3A, undefeated. And years ago, Trent Witz, the assistant coach, told me that was one of the stipulations Larry had when he was approached about taking the job here. Like, if I'm going to be the head coach, I want to schedule high-quality teams.
Yeah.
Jalen Suggs for 3, no good. Chet Holmgren was ready for the putback dunk, but he couldn't get the timing down. Nasir El-Amin, full speed ahead. Townley, no good on the putback. Jalen Suggs brings it up. Redhawks with numbers. Caden Johnson lost the handle. And Nasir El-Amin, he'll draw the foul on Siegel Howard. You getting excited there?
Yes, you know I'm going for the North Polars. All the way.
Oh, I see. Oh, you've got a rooting interest in this one. You better hope the Minnehaha fans don't find out. Well, Minnehaha, they have a lot of history as well. We mentioned 2-time defending champions in Class 2A. They are favorites to win a 3rd straight. They won another state title back in 2013. And Chet Holmgren with his first block.
That was expected from the beginning.
Well, and with Chet Holmgren, you can't approach him with your usual effort. You can't go at him lackadaisically because he has that 7-foot frame, that long wingspan. You've got to be a little more crafty with him to avoid getting blocked.
And he's always anticipating the shot. He's always ready to block it.
He was racking up a bunch of them in the win over Central. And there's another one.
Still, Eli Campbell.
Speaking of anticipation, offensive foul. Siegel Howard got himself set. As you know, the restricted zone now in play, so you've got to make sure you're set outside that arc. Howard was, and he draws the offensive foul. He will go against Campbell, his first.
We're already 2 minutes in. It's a good game. Neither teams have scored yet.
Josh Hodges in the game, the 6'5" senior. Jalen Suggs through the hole and in. Jalen Suggs, any adjective you could use to describe him, it probably fits. Holmgren didn't get the block there, but his presence altered the trajectory.
Omar Brown is definitely a defensive player. He's a great defensive player. I'd say he's one of the best decent players on the North team.
And even with the loss of Tre Holloman and some of the seniors to graduation, Larry McKenzie knows how to develop players.
Yes, he does.
And with his background, Caden Johnson fires a three, he'll be short. His background, his history, it doesn't take much to get some new kids over here. Eli Campbell missed the three-pointer. Holmgren, he's going to win a lot of those battles for rebounds at 7 feet. And don't let his size fool you. You know, he looks like a pencil. But if you underestimate him, he'll reject you. Jalen Suggs, deep three is long. And the rebound ends up into the hands of Omar Brown. No-look dish. And Jalen Suggs joins the block party. Redhawks on the run. Aligbe missed the alley-oop. If there's one weakness with Minnehaha, they sometimes can get a little too cute.
Yeah. I'd say both teams are known for that.
Three ball. Willie Wilson missing from the corner. And that pass a little too high. Redhawks ball, 14:34 left in the first half. A slow start to this one, just 2-0. But Minnehaha establishing some history of their own. Giovanni Bickham used to be the all-time leading scorer. Now Jalen Suggs passed him. Jalen Suggs, a state championship in football this year with SMB.
Yeah.
2 state championships in basketball. He has USA experience.
Yes.
Jalen Suggs is the boys' equivalent of Paige Beckers in the junior class as far as
I'd agree.
the most anticipated recruits. And Jalen, he's got a bright future. And he's part of a long line of Suggs. Raina Suggs, Jalen has a younger sister who will move her way up through Minnehaha.
He's definitely athletic.
Well, he is. I remember it was a few years ago, actually 3 years ago right here, when I first saw Jalen Suggs play as an 8th grader. Nasir Alami missing the drive. I was calling the Minnehaha North game with your compadre, Lule Youssef.
Yes.
And Jalen Suggs was knocking down 3-pointers from Steph Curry range. And I was thinking to myself, who is this kid? Well, 3 state championships later, we all know who he is.
Yes. Someone to watch out for. That's who he is.
And it should be noted that he didn't make Minnehaha per se. He just helped make them a little better.
Yeah.
Because they had won a state championship back in 2013 with a bunch of D2 and D3 guys. But they banded together, one of those teams where the sum was greater than their parts. Redhawks, relentless, and Jalen Suggs with a little slide job. I'll say this, Minnehaha, they are the more aggressive team right now, putting a little more pressure on North.
Yeah. They're taking a little more time on their shots. I'd say North is just throwing it up there.
Jalen Suggs picked up 35 points in the win over St. Paul Central. He averages over 23 a game. And we've got a scramble for the ball. It's won by the Redhawks. Suggs, count it! Jalen Suggs. That's a rare 4-point play.
I think McKenzie's going to take a timeout soon.
He's looking exasperated on the north bench. How about Jalen Suggs? What a start to this game. He missed a free throw again. This time, North gets the rebound. North does not want to suffer a similar start to Waseca and go down by 23.
They're not being smart.
Another block for Holmgren.
To just throw the ball up at Chet, that's not smart.
Long 2 is no good. And another foul on the Polars. North
Timeout coming soon.
Yeah, North not looking organized right now. They
At all.
look a little rattled. Lance Johnson, the head coach of the Redhawks, he's been with the program for a long time. And Larry McKenzie, the highest winning percentage out of any coach in state tournament play. He's only lost once. And another foul on the Polars.
Wow.
That one, I'm not so sure, but I don't have their vantage point, but that's a tough foul to take if you're Omar Brown.
Yeah.
And that's the 5th foul on the Polars. 5 fouls, no points in 5.5 minutes. Jalen Suggs fakes the 3. Backs out. The skip to Holmgren, 3 ball. No good. Contact, but nothing called. Elamine, he's fouled from behind. Redhawks looking to put their stamp on this rivalry. Again, these two play each other every year. The sellout crowd at the Lansing Sports Center last year, not quite a sellout tonight, but certainly one of the biggest dates on the schedule. Entry pass is stripped by Craig McDonald. Jalen Suggs out to Holmgren, you bet. Suggs with a dime, Holmgren gets on the board. Elamine out to Campbell. Fakes the 3 and drains the runner.
Finally on the board.
They are, but
Down
a
6.
6-minute, 25-second scoring drought to start the game.
Yeah.
Right, 6-point margin, so it's certainly early, a long way to go, but North's offensive efficiency has to go up. Holmgren missing another 3. North wanted a foul. They'll get the bucket, though. Darius Hansen scores. Four-point margin, and for North to go 6.5 minutes without scoring and only trail 6-0 at that point, you got to feel pretty lucky.
Yes.
Suggs for 3. No good. Minnehaha will let that, I should say North will let that go out of bounds. Dead ball rebound to the Polars. Josh Hodges out to Campbell. Here's Townley. Holmgren, another block.
Wow.
Make that 2.
He has at least 6 blocks.
And that length of his, that frame, he can just get up without much effort. That time, North forcing the deflection, but you've got to keep an eye on Holmgren on defense because he's got one of the longest wingspans, of longest reaches of any prep player.
Yeah, you can't just go up and at him. At least try to do a pump fake.
You're going to have to, use a pump fake, run some backdoor plays.
Pivot foots around him.
3 is off the mark from Omar Brown. But for Holmgren, I mean, it's impressive what he's been able to do in his first couple of years of varsity. Suggs can't get the roll. Prince Aligbe, jump ball, Minnehaha with the arrow. And speaking of impressive performances, Prince Aligbe came up clutch in some key games as an 8th grader last year on this team. Now a 6'5" freshman. So this Redhawks program, they're built to last. And the scary part is Terry Lockett isn't on this team. He moved to a prep school in Ohio. Imagine if he were on this Redhawks squad.
Yeah. He'd be something to see too. I remember him.
Speaking of pump fakes, Johnson throws one, and that's a foul. Contact. Devon Townley Jr. collided with Caden Johnson, so Caden will shoot 2.
Caden Johnson from Minnehaha will be shooting 2.
Redhawks 18-2. Caden Johnson averaging 5.6 a game. Here's a glimpse at Minnehaha Academy and their impressive list of opponents. They lost to De La Salle back on January, or that was North, I should say. They beat Eden Prairie by 1 on the road. They took care of Breck, another top 10 team in 2A, took care of Caledonia, beat Austin by 20. Austin, a top 10 team in Class 3A. Defeated Onalaska and La Crosse Central. So this is a team that has gone up against the likes of several top-tier competitors and won. North, they've stumbled a bit. 3 on the way. In and out. Bennett Tyson with the rebound. He'll clean it up. I take that back. That's Trent Finney. Redhawks up 11-4. Right now, Minnehaha, the more poised team. They seem to have a little more focus. Minneapolis North, they seem a little off guard, caught off guard with the defensive approach Minnehaha Academy's taking, and it doesn't help when your shots aren't going in.
Yeah, at all.
Jalen Suggs taking a breather. Aligbe lost the handle.
That's a push ball, so don't
A foul is called on the Polars. It will go against Willie Wilson and North in the penalty. So Prince Aligbe to the line for 2. Prince Aligbe averaging 11.2 a game. One of the rising stars at Minnehaha Academy. Missed the front end. Holmgren not giving up on the 3, but it's no good. North, nothing doing on the fast break attempt. And there's the timeout. 11-4. The way this game has been played, North lucky to be down by 7, but they just got to get focused here.
Yeah, they're not focused at all. They have to get their heads in the game.
And they're not strangers to high-level opponents. North, they host the Above the Rim Classic. They lost big, though, to Orr Academy. Lost a close one with De La Salle, the first time those two schools had met in several years. That was a sellout crowd at the Island.
Yeah.
Lost to 18 against Hopkins. But this is a school that's in demand. They're one of the most traveled schools in the state every year. They take part in the Barefoot Classic at the Pentagon every year in South Dakota. They went on the road and beat Milwaukee, Washington, or I should say, it was neutral site at the Granite City Classic in St. Cloud. They played a pair of games on MLK weekend, losing to Martin Luther, beating Proviso East. So this is a school, they get around. They played against teams from South Dakota, Wisconsin, and Illinois. Prince Aligbe gets on the board and
doesn't look too good.
Simply put, The Redhawks are showing more hustle right now.
Definitely more aggression. They want it more than North.
It's a matter of hustle. And the Redhawks are getting after it a little bit more. Just 4 points for the Polars.
See, that's not smart at all.
And that's a double whammy.
And then you get a foul after.
That is the double whammy, as I call it. It's one thing to get a shot block, but you don't want to commit a foul in the backcourt. And more free throws coming. North, they're a team that averages 74.9 a game. They have just 4 points in over 10 minutes.
Just goes to show how prepared they were.
Well, it's still a lot of time. Remember, this team went down by 23 against Waseca, made a fight of it, so...
Yeah, but
it's
Minnehaha has more skill than Waseca.
Remember, this is a game of runs, as you know.
Yeah.
I have to imagine this isn't feeling good for North as they trail by 11, but... Well, they get the foul there on the Aligbe. Just the third on the Redhawks. Well, these two teams know each other, playing year in, year out. So they know how to scout each other. I think it's a matter of execution, but Minnehaha, they've been dialed in all year. And North having to retool a bit with what they lost to graduation. And a couple of folks have pointed out to me, as Caden Johnson scores in transition, you know, the graduations of Taylor Johnson and Odell Wilson Biggs, as he was affectionately called here.
Yeah.
That can have an impact. And as you know, in high school sports, graduation, the great equalizer.
Yes.
An impressive showing by the Redhawks so far. They came ready to play. North, they just got to get some momentum going. You just got to find a way to get a couple of buckets any way you can.
Yes.
Get a few plays to go your way. Get the psyche back in your favor.
Don't just try to throw it up to get a foul. Try to make the shot. This year's team, they're kind of known for that. Trying to draw the foul instead of executing the shot.
Then sometimes, as you can attest to, being on that court, it's easier said than done. Minnehaha's defense once again forcing a turnover. I have no words to say. I don't know what to say. Minnehaha is just feasting.
Yes.
They're running on all cylinders. North, they just look out of place right now.
Not as intense as we thought it was going to be. Or I should say
That's why we played them. You never know how a game will turn out.
Yeah, like we said before.
It's important to remember that there's still another half. There's still 5:58 to go here, but this is one of the most bizarre trends or developments I have seen in my years of covering Minneapolis North as Holmgren completes a three-point play. You're not used to them struggling like this. There have been some games where they've lost in shootouts like Hopkins.
And that would be Goten, but it didn't count anyway.
Well, there was a foul before the shot, so.
They're just not taking the game as smart as they should.
Well, Devon Townley drains a contested shot. I think Minnehaha's defense has rattled them a little bit. Well, they get up and
key.
Well, they get up, they get in your face. You know, preparation and sometimes how you handle a crisis. And we have an offensive foul on Minnehaha. But how many times have we said you got to withstand that first run? You know, you've been in that situation, I'm sure, as a player where you might get rocked one half, but then fight your way back later on.
Definitely
so
my year.
You don't want to get
definitely.
You don't want to get
we
too
were pretty
low.
known for that. You don't want to get too deep into a hole where it's hard for you to come back.
I remember covering a girls' game where that happened against Legacy Christian, and then you were able to force overtime. Came up a little bit short, but made a fight of it. And that's it. You just got to weather these storms. There you go.
That's what you're supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to do. They should have been pressing the whole time.
Sometimes it takes a while to get adjusted.
It does, because you don't know
You
what
gotta
you're,
be patient.
don't know what you're gonna get.
It's a long 36 minutes, Marshell. Suggs for three. Pure! Suggs up to 11. Elamine to number 13. That is Clifford Brown III. Baseline drive in traffic. They'll try again. Elamine, three is short.
They have to box out against Chet. You can't just try to go up for the rebound with them.
And that goes off of Townley.
In this game, boxing out is key, especially with Chet on the court.
And especially when you have a guy like him, it's about awareness, IQ. And folks have
Yes.
told me height helps when it comes to rebounding, but even if you don't have it, you can compensate by positioning yourself well, boxing out like you noted. Understanding space. North gets the steal there. No look. A reverse. Well, it didn't work for Townley, but that's what you got to do. You got to
Yeah.
use the rim as your friend
Yes, and you have
against
to.
Holmgren.
Oh,
That's a walk. .354 left in the first half. Minnehaha up 23-8.
if we can just get our momentum up, make better shots, better decisions, this could possibly be the game we were expecting for. See, like that right there?
I think they may have passed one too many times.
Yeah.
I thought Clifford Brown had a chance there if he went for it, but Minnehaha getting the turnover. Here's Suggs trying to get the step on Omar Brown, and that's going to be a foul on Omar, his second. And North with 10 fouls, so 2 free throws here for Jalen Suggs.
Already in a bonus.
Jalen Suggs, the all-time leading scorer in Minnehaha Academy history. Set that mark against Austin a few weeks ago. And Jalen, with all the success he has built, he could end his prep career as one of the most decorated athletes at Minnehaha Academy.
Oh, definitely.
And Minnehaha, if you remember last year's Super Bowl, which was in Minneapolis,
Yes.
they got a shout out indirectly. You remember Steph Curry was there, and he wore a Redhawks jacket. 3-ball, corner pocket. Clifford Brown III.
He's known for threes like that.
And could that give North a spark? Well, that's not something you can do. You can't afford fouls here with your opponent in the double bonus. So Jalen Suggs gets to shoot more free throws.
Already in a bonus, you're not supposed to do that.
I remember last year getting him in foul trouble. That was a huge asset for North. In this year's edition, he's been able to operate virtually unhampered.
Yeah, that was the goal. The main goal was to go up and at him for those fouls to get him fouled out, but it seems like he's been working on that. I mean, that was his only disadvantage.
Remember, this kid has USA experience.
Yes.
And you don't get to be on a junior national team without some smarts. Timeout, Minnehaha Academy, 3:10 left in the first half. Well, I know with your history at North, this may be a tough first half to watch, but give credit to the Redhawks.
Yeah.
They've been the aggressor.
They came out strong.
They came out strong?
out ready.
North, they've got their work cut out for them here. They still have another half to try to fix it, but again, it's just rare. How many times have you been to a game where North was running up the score and having all sorts of fun out there? Not too often you see them with just 11 points with 3 minutes left in the first half.
Well, then again, you do have to think about, look at their squad. They kind of have a whole new squad. They have some of the same players.
A lot of new pieces, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, last year we had Odell Wilson, and we had Taylor Johnson. Those two right there would be a great asset right now and make a huge difference.
Those two are great assets at their respective colleges, Odell at North Dakota State and Taylor at Northern Iowa. It's funny because I remember talking with the coaches and how they thought Taylor had some better basketball abilities than his older brother Tyler, and yet both of the Johnsons decided to go for football.
Yeah.
Although for Tyler, it's worked out pretty well.
Yes.
He'll come back for his senior year, and I'm sure an NFL career will await him after that.
Yes.
I call Tyler Mr. Clutch because football or basketball,
he comes in clutch.
Yep, he was your go-to. And I remember before Larry came in, he was with this program, and his dad told him, stay with it, good things will happen. Larry came in, and Tyler Johnson went out with a state championship his senior year, giving North another banner. They have 7 of them in boys basketball. Larry McKenzie winning 2 in Class A.
Yep, playing better defense. They're playing better defense.
They get the steal. Alley-oop!
That's what
Devon
you do.
Townley.
That's what you do.
And even though North is still down by 12, what it does is get the crowd going.
Yes.
Jalen Suggs with the silencer, no good. And a foul on Minnehaha. That's their last to give. But you saw how the crowd reacted, and they've been waiting for something to cheer about here at North Community High School.
It gets the crowd going, and it gets the team going. So hopefully they'll play smarter. They know that they can get some shots in.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt that. Remember, they've got Larry McKenzie.
Yes.
They've got
He's
folks.
a great educator of the game.
Well, and his assistant Trent Witz, his crew, it's been around for a while.
Yeah.
Another change this year. To that staff, you recall Khalid El-Amin spent a year on the coaching staff. He's not with the program. Again, it's an assistant coach, but another change you have to adjust to. Khalid, of course, won 3 state titles here. One of the many star athletes to come out of here.
Yeah.
I'll never forget when he won the NCAA championship at UConn back in '99. Went up to the camera, yelled, "We shocked the world." He was kind of a ham, as I recall, though. That's going to be a foul on the Polars. And North, well, let's just say if you're a North fan, you don't like that call.
Not at all.
That's one of those calls where it depends on which side you're rooting for, whether it was a good one or not.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know how much you know about North history, but Khalid El-Amin, he was kind of a ham, but he was an undersized player.
Yeah, he was an undersized player, but he took over the whole game.
He did at North and UConn. I'll never forget that buzzer beater he got in state back in '96. You've probably seen it on YouTube.
I watched it on YouTube.
Well, you weren't born yet when that happened, but he jumped over the bench of the high school league staff for bracing for dear life. That was funny. At the old St. Paul Civic Center.
I'd say he's a North Side legend.
You think? Khalid El-Amin, Tamara Moore, got the girls going. Maury Horton missed basketball in '99, I believe, right after Tamara Moore. Maya Johnson went to Michigan State for college after winning a couple titles. Prince Aligbe making both free throws. And on Minnehaha's end, Giovanni Bickham, a big part of last year's team. He's at Denver now, playing D1
really
basketball.
Good player, a really great player.
And
I know him and Odell, they used to go at it.
And Bickham, a classy guy, too. I remember speaking with him after their win over Caledonia. Highly professional. That kid's going to go places. And Odell Wilson caught up with his mother, who is a former Golden Gopher. Suggs. Beep, beep.
Straight through the defense. You have to stop that.
Well, it's hard to stop the agility of Jalen Suggs. He's 6'4", and, well, he's got all the tools. He was the quarterback on the SMB team.
Yeah.
This guy can do it all. Well, much like Tyler Johnson did. He was the quarterback for North football and big part of the basketball team. A lot of multi-sport athletes between these two, and the Redhawks are going to shoot more free throws. That's something North is going to have to clean up in the second half, the fouling.
Yes, they have to. If they want to make this a game, they have to clean their defense up.
Because you're giving Minnehaha more free throws. They're already 8 of 14. This will be attempts 15 and 16, and the Redhawks have a 16-point lead with just under a minute to play in the first. But this place has seen a lot of history.
Yeah. A lot of great players came out of North.
Well, in the 90s, during the Khalid El-Amin years,
yes,
this place was synonymous with basketball. They fell off a bit. Then, of course, the school almost closed.
And that's when
A lot of athletes or a lot of students jettisoned. Chet Holmgren, don't bring that weak stuff in here, is what he said. Aligbe.
I'd take that foul. I'd take that foul.
Well, that's a foul. Again, make Aligbe earn it at the line, but once again, it was set up by that reach of Chet Holmgren.
Yeah.
If he's near you, you've got to find another way. You've got to find a way to get around him, and that's not easy to do. There aren't too many athletes of Chet Holmgren's caliber.
One advantage I think Minnehaha also has is I think they have a little more chemistry. Because they have like 3 starters that were starters last year.
Yep.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Prince Aligbe got significant minutes a year ago.
It wasn't like that for North last year. They had,
right.
Yeah, they had different players, so they're still getting new. They're getting together.
Yeah, you've got a few seniors as Aligbe makes both free throws in Brown, Campbell, and El-Amin, but Willie Wilson, he's a freshman. Townley, a sophomore.
They've all played together, but they haven't played.
Right, they were coming off the bench a year ago.
Yeah, they were all coming off the bench. Except for Nasir.
Right. And for those younger guys, Wilson and Townley, look out. North ball, but it takes a while to build up that chemistry, and that's a good point. You know, Minnehaha, a lot of these guys played with each other last year, and that chemistry wasn't impacted by the loss of Terry Lockett. 3 ball. Campbell missing the 3. Townley going up on Holmgren. No good. Rebound, Karam's to him. North with time. Well, there you go. Devon Townley found a way to get past Holmgren, but a dominant first half by Minnehaha, 32-15. The defense, the chemistry, the hustle, all in Minnehaha's favor. North, they're going to have to get that sorted out if they want to come back. So we'll take a break and come back where we'll have a guest join us in the booth. You're watching high school boys basketball. Minnehaha leads Minneapolis North 32-15. And I'm joined by a special guest. This is the fall of Marshell, by the way. She spotted Dlayla Chakolis from Hopkins and said, hey, why don't you bring her over here for a chat? So anything that happens here in the next 2 minutes, Marshell, this is all your fault. But Dlayla, you know, you go to Hopkins, but you have a few connections here. So what brought you to this matchup of number 1 versus number 2?
Just thought it would be a really good game. A lot of my good friends like Omar Brown, Eli, Jalen Suggs, people like that, they all play. Tell me come out. Why not support the guys? They support us when they can, so, I mean, why not?
That's a good talking point, you know, the extended family in this sport. A lot of kids know each other. I remember, you know, coming here to North games, and a lot of the Hopkins kids would want to check them out. I remember Hopkins North boys a few years ago. Some of the players weren't happy about not being able to get in. What makes this such an extended family of support here?
I think because a lot of kids who live over North go to Hopkins. Like I originally lived over North, and I came from Hopkins to over North. So I think it's just that extended part of people going to school there and some going to school here, and just playing against each other makes a really good connection.
So you said you grew up here originally, and you know a few of the Minnehaha and North kids. So any stories you'd like to share with you guys growing up, taking it out on the court?
Maybe just playing basketball or open gym at Farview. Farview is another spot over north that a lot of kids go to. Teen night in general. Me and Eli grew up playing against each other. In the second grade, we both played against each other on the Farview boys and girls team. And he's just been doing great. He's the player that North needed for them to be, and he's just going to do great things in college.
Well, Farview, that's another place where you could get a lot of stories. A lot of kids have come through there. Andrea Adams, Nia Holly, and I'm sure there are more. I think Johnson and Starr were a part of it from that De La Salle dynasty. What is it about Farview that has produced so much talent when you look around this metro area?
Man, I don't know, but my one thing I always say is that Farview creates stars. Like half of everybody I know has either played there or came through there. Like a lot of Hopkins, Nia Holly, Ashley Bates, TT Starks, all played for Farview. So I mean, I always say they create stars. And it's just a great environment to be in.
Now, with this game, what are your impressions of the first half?
I feel like Minnehaha's coming out really strong. Jalen's pushing the tempo. He's doing really good. On the other side of the end, for Norb, what is his name? Devon. He's doing really good. He's pushing Chet, but I mean, they can't even guard him. He's like 7 foot, and he's just blocking everything. So he's having a really good game.
He certainly is, and Chet, not easy to get around. Jalen, of course, an outstanding prep career. Not too many 7-footers. And on your end, I think you stand at 5'6" officially.
Yeah, 5'6".
5'6", but well, a few weeks ago I covered your game with Aquinas, and your ability to get rebounds, ability to compensate for lack of size compared to other folks is really impressive. What did you do to develop that skill where you're not afraid to go in amongst the trees at 5'6" and get after those rebounds?
I pretty much grew up playing against boys, so they're 10 times stronger and faster, so it made me more competitive and more aggressive and more physical. And just practicing shooting over big people, like going through the contact and just working to get them rebounds, because doing the little things is what I like doing. Like they call me Charles Barkley, like he cleans up everything. So I mean, that's what I just try to do, and it's worked for me so far, so I guess I'm going to keep doing it.
So at Hopkins, do they call you the round mound of rebound?
Pretty much.
What was I going to say? I don't know. That's a pretty fun story. What are you most excited about? We know you're going to Hampton next year. You'll join an old teammate of yours, Ashley Bates, for at least a season. What are you excited about going to an HBCU down in Virginia?
It's actually just the culture. I mean, I went there for my visit. It felt extremely like home. The girls made me feel welcome. I love the area, just the atmosphere, and just being able to play with people like Ashley Bates and then LaShayla Wright and Mina Porte. Like they both played for Osseo and they played for Kennedy, and I got a chance to play against both of them, so I know how they play, so it should be pretty fun.
Now, you were telling me going up against boys who are 10 times stronger, how badly did you want to beat the boys on the court?
Man, every time you got on the court at Farview, if you lose, you don't get back on, so you gotta win. Like that's a mentality, and that's a mentality that I've been at since then.
Well, I'd say it's paid big dividends for you. Anyone you want to say hi to before we let you go?
Hey mom, hey dad, love you guys, and I just turned 18 yesterday, so I mean it's fun.
All right, well now you're an adult now, so you've got some responsibilities.
Yes, sir.
Well, thanks for the time. Hope you have fun, and we'll look forward to seeing you perhaps at State and certainly at Hampton.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Dlayla Chakolis of Hopkins. We'll have the second half coming up in a moment. Mike Peden and Marshell Cook with you. High school boys basketball. Minnehaha Academy leading Minneapolis North big, 32-15. Marshell, I somehow managed to survive my little chat with Dlayla Chakolis. And she talked about how everyone knows everyone. You know, you guys grew up in Farview, and a lot of the Hopkins students grew up around here.
Yeah.
And even if they didn't, they get around.
Yeah. Everybody knows everybody, even if it's through AAU basketball.
And the friendships last forever. Doesn't matter what high school jersey you wear. We're going back to that North Hopkins series. I remember Nia Holly was among the players who couldn't get into that game, and she told me how angry she was that she couldn't come to watch it. But there's a lot of camaraderie, As the saying goes, game respects game, and you see that even in the pros. One of my colleagues at High Post Hoops, Ariel Chambers, was asking some of the NBA All-Stars about the impact women's basketball has had for them, and everyone spoke highly about the talent and the determination of WNBA athletes, and Jalen Suggs determined to throw it down.
Yeah.
You're working on that, right? So next year you're going to dunk? I hope you're working on that. You've had a couple of years.
I wish.
I bet you can get up there. I bet with a little bit of work you could get up there.
Yeah, with a little more
Omar Brown gets on the board. 17-point game. Caden Johnson. Long skip. Omar Brown read it. Goes up and draws a foul. He'll shoot 2.
Well, like we said before, second half they're going to come out with a little more momentum, and let's see. Minnehaha, they just have to keep up with the ones that they came out with.
Remember, they fell by 23 against Waseca before rallying back, and that was the #1 team in Class 3A. So it's not over by any means, but they've got some work to do.
Yeah.
And on that note about camaraderie, I don't know if you two grew up together at Farview, but you have, of course, a close friendship with Lule.
Oh, yeah, we didn't meet up through basketball. Yeah, we didn't meet through basketball, but when we did meet, we started playing basketball with each other all the time. The same AAU teams. Everywhere I went, she went. Everywhere she went, I went for basketball.
So she's your sister from another mother, isn't she?
Yes.
And the reason I bring her up, I don't know if she follows North or watches this, but you've been telling me she is part of a Somalian national team trying to get more exposure or get more countries to allow Somali women to play.
Yeah, and it's actually a very great program, and they're getting a lot of people to catch on to it.
And what an impressive story. And I understand they're traveling around the world.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
It's an impressive story because there was a moment where Lule wasn't sure she was going to continue playing basketball after Crystal took over, but your old head coach said she got her senses about her, or got her senses back, and it's worked out quite well. And Minnehaha is working things out quite well on their end. Caden Johnson lays it in.
Chet's playing really good. He seems really focused.
And once again, he altered the shot.
He has about 11, huh?
I'm not sure if that's a block or not, but even if he's not blocking it, he's altering shots.
Yeah.
And it's one thing to have height. Of course, it helps to be tall, but you need to have the IQ, the awareness. You can't just expect to throw a 7-footer and just block until kingdom come. But even Brittany Griner went through that as well. A great block machine, but over time, teams found a way to get around her.
Yeah, like I said before, Chet's really good with anticipating that shot or the pass. He's a really good defensive player, as well as offense. He's making a lot of assists, great passes.
And it helps to have the do-everything athlete in Jalen Suggs running the point.
Yeah.
And the changes to Minnehaha's roster this year, in particular, losing Lockett to prep school, Holmgren got a deflection there. Folks who follow boys hoops told me that allowed Jalen to flourish even more, running the point where he can set up the offense or he can score on his own.
Yeah, a little more of an advantage for him.
Howard, no good. Brown with the rebound, the bounce pass to Nasir El-Amin. El-Amin goes in for the layup. Now, can North string a series of these possessions?
I think they can. We'll just have to see.
El-Amin went for the steal. Jalen Suggs.
He's very confident.
I've never seen him not confident in a game. Eli Campbell, that might boost his confidence. And Minnehaha calling a timeout. Redhawks don't want to risk it. And then a technical foul. Holmgren, I think what happened, I only saw the tail end of it, but I think he spiked the ball, and that's a no-no.
One of those texts, and it's not a good feeling.
You can't spike the ball.
But they still do have the lead, so.
They have the lead, but because of it, I believe under high school rules, North will get free throws and they'll get another possession.
Yeah, they will.
So that is a silly foul, really.
Yeah.
Your coach calls a timeout to stem a potential run, and then you get caught up in your emotions a little bit. That's just the first foul on Holmgren, but not a good time to pick one up.
Yeah. He shouldn't let that get him too upset either. They're on a good run.
Well, like you said, you got hit with one of those texts, and sometimes...
Yeah, but when I got hit with it, we were at the lower end. We were losing.
Okay, I'm just saying sometimes, despite your best efforts, you get a little bit heated.
Yeah.
I'll never forget this. A few years ago, I covered Como Park De La Salle when Andrea Adams was a senior. It was an intense rivalry that year.
Oh, yeah.
There were 4 technical fouls in the first half.
Wow.
I have never seen a girls' game get that intense.
Yeah.
And I know they come out to play, so it's not like they're feminine, or that's not the right word, but they're not worried about breaking nails or anything. But they didn't like each other. I thought
they were real players of the game. Andrea Adams, she's a great player. Great player.
I loved Andrea Adams.
Yeah.
Watching her grow up at Como Park.
I had the honor to play under her father's AAU team, and she would practice
the Charity
with us.
Warriors.
Yeah.
And North, that's a 4-point play. With Campbell making the free throws and Willie Wilson scoring, so that technical by Holmgren has given North a little lifeline here. Aligbe no good. A quick 6-0 run for the Polars. When you consider the score, the free throws, and that bucket by Wilson. Now Elamine joins the fun, and he'll get a chance at 3.
I don't think that was a foul. I didn't see a foul with Jalen there.
A break for North, and here they come. They were trailing by 17, I believe, at one point.
Like Coach Crystal used to call us, a second-half team. I think we should call them a second-half team.
And again, this isn't uncharted territory. They were trailing by 23 to Waseca before finding a way back. And as we were saying earlier, as frustrating as the first half was, Larry probably would have pulled his hair out if he had any. I don't have much either. You just got to ride that wave.
Yeah.
Withstand that surge. Elamine completes a 3-point play, and just like that, it's a 6-point game. And Minnehaha, they picked up 5 fouls in 4 minutes here, because technicals count as personals. So the Redhawks with just one more to give. And that's a foul.
It's not a good foul. It's good defense, but not a good foul. All he had to do was move his feet.
Just the first of this half on the Polars, but they've got to watch some foul trouble here. Omar Brown and now Willie Wilson both have 3.
Yeah.
Timeout. Minneapolis North.
But he's still a freshman. He's still learning.
You were a freshman once. So, you and Lule didn't meet through basketball, but are there any fun stories that you want to share? I don't want to say dirt, but any fun or kooky moments in this friendship of yours?
Whenever we played basketball together, I remember we had to tell Andrea Adams' father,
Patrick.
Yeah, we had to tell him, like, you should put us in the game together. We can work something out. We can make the team score. And he was a little nervous at first because we were new to the team, and he had already had his team pretty solid. But he listened to us, and we were in Chicago at this time. And I gave her a pass. She gave it right back. She got in a post-up position, gave it to her. She passed it back to me, and I just knocked down a mid-range. And that usually happened all the time.
How about that block by the Polars? Aligbe picked up the entry feed. North and 1! Townley scores, and pending the free throw, the Polars can make this a 1-possession game. North couldn't buy a bucket in the first half. They
mean-
went 5.5 minutes, 6.5 minutes, I should say, without scoring to start the game. And here they are. They've scored 11 unanswered. And I wonder that technical on Holmgren for spiking the ball may have been a turning point.
Yeah, a little bit of it. Yes, it was a major one, I should say. A major turning point.
For the moment, anyway, what was a double-digit lead is down to 3. And the Polars fans finally getting into it here. North will take possession.
And see, Minnehaha, they shouldn't let this get into their head. They should keep the same momentum that they had, keep positive energy, and continue to play.
Listen to the fans.
They're still learning. They're still learning.
Listen to the fans. They want to get loud. North looking to cut into this margin. They could tie it with a 3. And they'll do it with Eli Campbell draining the tray. Tie game. The North fans on their feet. 3-ball foul and shooting 3.
We have to
Donovan
calm down with
Smith.
the fouls. We have to calm down.
And I know you're riding a high when you tie it up, but what you don't want to do is foul a shooter like that. One of the North fans, he took off his shirt.
His name's Kashan. He used to be the basketball team's manager. Coach McKenzie gave it the nickname Juicy.
I'm wondering why he took off his shirt.
Because he was so hyped. He loves the basketball team like he was on the team because he was the manager.
Well, Donovan Smith missing the first of his 3 free throws, so I guess that's a good foul. That foul, by the way, is the 3rd on Eli Campbell. So even though Smith is missing the free throws here, North may get out of this with little damage. The problem is it's putting more players in foul trouble. You've got 3 with 3. Minnehaha's and Siegel Howard has 3, but that's about it.
That's why I said it wasn't a good foul because Eli already had 2. Now he had 3. And there's still 12 minutes left, and he's one of the main key players that we need, that North needs.
Right, and Campbell just tied it up. Now Smith only made 1 of 3 at the line, so it's a 1-point game. Alameen lost the dribble. It's scooped up by Aligbe. Looking for space. And he gets pickpocketed. North looking to push. Alameen. To Brown. 3 on the way. This place would have erupted had that gone down.
Yeah, it would have.
Suggs sees a lane and lays it in.
He could have dunked that if he wanted to, but it's smart to just lay it in, get that easy
If you're
layup.
not absolutely sure, just lay it in, get the points. Oh, an unforced turnover there, an unforced error on the Polars. And here comes Caden Johnson. A huge momentum swing. That allowed the Polars to tie it up.
So this kid that's coming in for North, he's actually a JV player, but he's new. He's a very good.
Which one is that?
He's coming in. His name is Kashan. He'll be coming in a minute. You'll see him down in the post stand. He gets a lot of rebounds. Definitely an athlete we should be looking for in North's future.
Elbow J for Holmgren. Switch.
They have to get back on their feet. They have to.
And you see Holmgren, he's a monster down low, but he's been working on his range.
Yeah.
You've seen him in this game. I see that at Central, trying to get that
Out on the
outside stroke
perimeter,
going.
yeah.
Well, it's the stretch 4 these days. You want post players who can block like he just did. But you also want post players that can hit the outside shot as well. Not like the old days when I grew up watching the sport and you had your Shaquille O'Neal and David Robinsons. That's all they did. They were great at it, but the game has changed. Fade away, that's not easy to do with Holmgren in your face. Suggs, if he gets a burst of speed, he is tough to stop. He's going to shoot 2. I've noticed when Suggs gets going in transition,
It's kind of hard to
it's
stop.
a freight train, right?
Yeah.
It's akin to stopping a freight train, and Picking up his third is Nasir Lamine, so now you've got 4 players on the Polars with 3 fouls.
Yeah, and that's not good. And a couple of them that are on the bench with 3.
And the Redhawks build their lead to 6. Jalen Suggs up to 20. He's had many 20-point games this year. And just like that, the Redhawks go on a 7-0 run.
Yep, they're getting back to it.
But there's still time.
Seems like they calmed down a little bit.
How about that by Darius Hansen? No fear against Holmgren.
Yeah.
He got rejected and he went back up. Holmgren. Hansen got back to him in time. Johnson was open in the corner. Now Smith is open. His 3 hits the rim. Campbell drains the runner. It's a 1-possession game again, 43-40.
I could say Eli's playing a really good game. He's playing like a senior should.
Much better second half, I would say.
Besides the fouls, he's playing a good offensive game. Much more smarter in the second half.
That's why I say it's all about adjustments. Another 3 that goes off the iron. But then North coughs it up. Eli Campbell swoops in. That would have been a layup for Holmgren if he wasn't there. Elamine drives and scores. Now North being the aggressor.
Yeah. Like I said before, Minnehaha can't let this pressure get to them. They can't let it get to their heads. They should come out with the same energy they came out in the beginning.
Well, remember, this is number 1 and number 2 in Class 2A.
Yeah.
It's going to be a battle. It was last year. Bad pass by Suggs. Holmgren able to get it. It went underneath the rim. Howard back out in the corner. 1-point game. Suggs got a step and draws the foul.
It is a body foul. It was. His hands are straight up, but his body was leaning, kind of forcing him out of bounds.
My reaction of surprise wasn't at the call itself, but it was the fact that if you leave Suggs alone there, he had nowhere to go. He's going to run out of bounds. Either that or have a tough pass. So by making contact with the body, I think you bail out Suggs there.
Yeah.
Because I think he had him pinned. Now they'll find Holmgren on the inbound. And Holmgren got stuffed by the rim.
He tried to plunge it. That would have been great.
Instead of break for the Polars as that went over the backboard, and as you know, if it goes over the backboard, it's a dead ball rebound to the other team. Campbell, no look, using the fake, and Holmgren got there in time. Townley wanted the foul. Suggs steps into a 3. It's short. But
they're not boxing out.
North will get possession anyway.
He could have got his own rebound. They should be boxing out.
8:31 to go. This was the game we were expecting. That first half was
just arguing with the ref. Jalen was.
Gotta let that go.
Yeah.
The refs aren't going to change their mind. Once they make their call.
He has to keep his cool because another ref probably would have gave him a tech. Probably just let him go with the warning, though, because he hasn't been arguing all day.
Something to keep an eye on. I believe Suggs got hit with a tech last year. No, Holmgren did at the end of last year's meeting. That's going to be the 4th on Brown.
Yeah, he's known for getting fouled out, too.
And he's going to have 4 fouls now. Polars with just 1 to give. Subs are coming in. 8:12 left. Hold on to your butts. We could have a photo finish here. Well, that first half, it was all Minnehaha.
Yeah.
And then North goes on a big run. I don't think the Redhawks were expecting that. Holmgren, 3-ball.
He's going to hit it if they keep leaving him open.
Instead, North has a chance to go in transition. Peden Johnson swoops in. Campbell with a look.
They called a foul on number 44, Darius Hansen.
And that is the last to give. So both teams will be in the bonus for the rest of the game. Now, the Redhawks getting to the line more often, but in a one-point game, that's big.
Got somebody new in, number 20.
That is Kashan Walker, the 6'3" sophomore.
If it's one thing he can't do, he can get some rebounds. So we'll just have to see what he can do against Minnehaha and Chet.
Holmgren fakes the three that time. Suggs goes to Holmgren. This time he fires. And that, again, goes over the backboard. Holmgren has yet to hit a three-pointer. In fact, I think he's only converted once on the outside. North trying to get the lead. That goes in and out. Alameen blocked. Devon Townley was there as the trailer. And the Polars take their first lead of the entire game.
He's having a good game. He's having a good game. I'm impressed.
They were flabbergasted, flummoxed. They were blindsided in the first half. Entry pass for Holmgren, and he'll drain the reverse.
That's hard to contest.
Hard to contest, and a luxury when you've got a 7-foot center. And that's going to be a foul on the Redhawks. And remember, they're out of fouls to give.
Back in a bonus.
I stand corrected on the foul tally. North still has one to give. Redhawks in the penalties. So Eli Campbell, the shoot two. Campbell, the team's leading scorer this year at 17.7. He has 12 points, and he's come up big in the second half. Played a big part in fueling this rally to retake the lead. Leaves the front end short.
He's been having a great senior year, though.
And a lot of Larry McKenzie's players, well, they go on to play at the next level. I'm sure Eli Campbell will find a place to play.
Yes. Yeah.
We mentioned Tyler Johnson, Odell Wilson, Isaac Johnson at Western Illinois.
Eli Campbell, he's also a candidate for Mr. Basketball.
That's right.
Oh,
Alley-oop to Holmgren for the slam.
that's something to get Minnehaha's crowd going.
Holmgren did a lot of work at the rim, and North maybe working a little too fast there, and Nasir El-Amin coughs it up.
Minnehaha's crowd, they're going. That should help their team to get back on their feet a little bit.
.6:23 left in the second half, 47-44. Number 1 and number 2 in Class 2A, Aligbe. No good. Fight for the rebound is won by Townley. And Suggs timed the pass.
You have to meet that pass.
And then he throws it away. Wanted the alley-oop to Aligbe. And
as you said earlier, trying to be a little too cute.
Yeah, well, I get what he was trying to do. Aligbe was open, but Jalen Suggs needed a little more softness on that pass.
He was trying to throw an alley-oop.
And that's not easy to do, and even for a 6'5" Aligbe.
He has to be ready for it. I don't think Aligbe was prepared for it.
Townley. How in the world did he get that to go in?
He is having a great game. I'm very impressed.
Townley up to 13, 47-46. Can North complete a comeback effort this time, or will the Redhawks hang on to the number 1 ranking? North forcing the steal. Oh no, Townley, no. Well, North catches a break there. Omar Brown, maybe he tried to be a little too fancy going for the dunk.
Yeah.
You had a wide open lane, just lay it in.
Yeah, he's been doing that the last few games. I don't know why. Just lay it in, simple, especially in this type of game. But he wants to get the crowd going. I know what he was looking for.
Well, you would give North the lead. They would all, just lay it in. That'll get them going, but Willie Wilson hits the front end. I don't know. I'm all about efficiency. If you see a wide open lane, Just lay it in.
Yeah.
You'll get the crowd going by retaking the lead, but what do I know? I'm not down there. It's a little different. When I'm up here and I get to offer my insight or analysis, it's a little harder when you're down there having to make all those decisions, as you can attest to as a guard.
Yeah.
But we're tied at 47. Suggs used the dribble.
Oh.
Whoa!
It was a foul because he was going for the charge. He should have just fell back.
And how about Jalen Suggs off balance, converts the layup, and he'll have a chance at 3. That's the 4th foul on Eli Campbell. So Brown and Campbell both have 4 here.
He's had about 4 or 5 and ones, Jalen.
A testament to his elusiveness. His speed, his ability to attack, that first step, and it's a 3-point game, but a long way to go. This one far from done. Both teams now out of fouls to give. Brown to Campbell, 3 ball. Missed everything. Minnehaha ball. Timeout, Minneapolis North, 4:27 left. All right, Marshell, you've been in your share of close games like this.
Yeah.
For North, what do they do here to take the lead and steal a win?
I think they should tighten up on defense, but don't keep fouling. You see, pretty much everybody except for Townley in the game are in foul trouble. 3 to 4 fouls, and that's not good. No fouls, just move your feet. Keep great energy. You have to hustle for sure. And just try to make smart passes, smart shots. Don't just throw anything up. This is a game that they can possibly win, so they just want to do everything as best as they could, I think. And for a team that they could possibly face in state, I think they should already know what to do because they've played Minnehaha before, and they know this game could go either way.
As we said, Minneapolis North, no stranger to close calls. We mentioned the game with Waseca against Caledonia. They rallied back from a double-digit lead late, forced overtime, got the win over the 2A perennial Warriors. And for Minnehaha, I'm guessing you're going to find a way to feed Jalen Suggs. If I'm the Redhawks here, you may use the clock to your favor, but you're in that danger zone, just a 1-possession lead. But I would find a way to get Suggs the ball, and they're
probably going to go for either Jalen or Prince Aligbe. Uh-oh.
They won't get either. Willie Wilson with the steal. Suggs. That was a LeBron James-like block. Reminded me of 2016, but North gets the steal back. Campbell. Step back. Bullseye! That was not on my list of expectations coming out of the timeout.
Either. I mean, he's known for those shots, but...
Another steal. Campbell again. Pure!
He's playing this game like a senior, like a vet.
And the last 2 plays, what North is doing, they're bringing the full court press. A pretty gutsy move considering all the players in foul trouble. Redhawks called a timeout, by the way. And the other thing, the Redhawks are going for those long skip passes. As you know, it can help you move the ball, but you also run a higher risk of getting picked off.
As you can see, Eli's gotten the whole crowd riled up.
Eli Campbell knocking down 3 triples in the second half. He has 4 overall and 2 big ones to give North their largest lead of the game. If you watch the first half, It didn't look like North had any sense of life, any sign of it.
At all.
They looked
It
out
looked
of
like they
control.
didn't even want to be here.
They just were completely flummoxed. They didn't look like the number 2 team, but again, all about adjustments.
And like I said before, if they wanted to win this game, they have to take smart shots and want to make it, and that's what Eli is doing.
And another difference here, they're stepping up the pressure, forcing more turnovers, especially in that half-court area. Big 3 from Johnson, and he overshoots it. The Redhawks.
Eli's playing this game. He's a good guard.
The
That's all I
Redhawks have only lost twice to Hopkins. They're in danger of losing their 3rd game of the year. North, no slouch at 16-6, a win here, and they would take the number 1 spot, much like they did last year. Campbell went for the exclamation point that was off the mark.
Yeah, he forced that.
Peden Johnson scores. Brown had to be careful there with the 4 fouls.
You don't have to force shots like that.
That was probably a heat check, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But we still have time.
But Eli is a great shooter, and he knows when it's off and when it's not there.
Johnson. Well, Elamine didn't have anywhere to go. Jalen Suggs off to the races.
And it's tied up. Oh, no, they have the lead again.
Suggs up to 26. Campbell. 3 is no good. Rebound picked up by
They
Suggs.
have to get back on defense, try to tighten up.
Redhawks answer quickly in transition. Suggs with the side fade.
He answers back.
A big time 3.
He answers back.
Elamine. Over 2 minutes to play.
He has
Redhawks
to make
up by
smart
4.
choices, smart choices.
And they're going to call a foul on Suggs.
That's his 3rd. So he's done pretty well staying out of foul trouble this game.
He's done well, but Lance Johnson animated. He thought it was an illegal screen. Jalen Suggs asking for an explanation.
He can't be talking to the refs like that.
Elamine knocks down the front end. That's a big foul, though, because it stops the clock with 2 minutes, allowing North to close in the deficit.
Yeah.
And Elamine knocks down both free throws.
Down to a 2-point game. Now, I think either Jalen's going to try to take this in his own hands or they're going to try to run the clock out. Uh-oh.
Suggs with a step back. Holmgren with the offensive rebound.
No fouls. They should not have any fouls right now. That wouldn't be smart.
There it is.
And they drawed one. They drew one.
The question is, who's it on?
I think it's on Townley.
They're going to call it on Brown. I see one.
Yep, he's fouled out.
As you noted, Brown
He's known for
has
that.
difficulties staying in the game as far as foul trouble goes. They haven't posted it on the scoreboard yet.
Because they're trying to figure out.
If it's on Brown, it's his 5th. If it's on Townley, it's his 2nd.
Now, he's done good with his fouls today. He didn't get too many today. Townley.
Holmgren has only been to the line once. He made both free throws, and they will charge it to Brown, so that will be it for him.
He played a good game.
Brown doesn't score a lot, just 7.6 a game, but
he's definitely a great asset to this game, to their team.
Now this is 1-1. Holmgren makes the front end. And this is big. He can make it a 2-possession game here. Holmgren does just that.
They have to be smart.
Well, you've got to find a way to get points here. And quickly. We have 120 off the screen. Elamine attacks. And Minnehaha will shoot free throws. Elamine took a hard fall.
Yeah.
He gets back up. That's what you don't want. I mean, Elamine, I think he saw a lane, but the problem was Chet Holmgren was waiting for him.
Yeah. Like I said earlier, multiple times, he anticipates that shot, and he knows when to block it.
Clifford Brown picks up his 4th personal, and Jalen Suggs, he's almost automatic, scores 30. He's had plenty of 30-point games this season. And the propensity of free throws, Redhawks 19 of 28, out shooting the Polars 7 of 9 on their end, and now time running out on Minneapolis North.
Yeah, a lot of time. They have to do something.
Redhawks, you see them, they are guarding the 3-point line. They don't want to let North get one off, 56.1. Larry McKenzie calls a timeout, and this goes back to what you said about chemistry. And sometimes with North, they've spent so many games against high-level competition working their way out of holes. As you know, that takes a lot of energy, and sometimes you don't have enough in the tank to hang on. That happened with Waseca. They ran out of gas. And they're in danger of doing the same to Minnehaha. They were up 53-50, but then the Redhawks got the transition game going again. And when you got guys like Jalen Suggs who can floor it in a hurry, well, that's why Minnehaha has such a massive following these last couple of years. Jalen Suggs, as we noted, one of the most highly coveted recruits in the state. He and Paige Beckers, they could pick any college they want. If only we had that luxury. But they've done the work to get there.
Yeah, they have.
31 points for Jalen Suggs. 31. And he's coming off a game against Central where he knocked down 35, and he still has another year left.
Yeah.
He's going to destroy that scoring record.
Yeah, he is.
If he sticks around another year. What a game for Jalen Suggs, but this is a moment. These are the moments that define the contenders from the rest of the field, how you handle adversity. North, they fought well, but Minnehaha may have had an answer for them in Jalen Suggs.
They're face guarding Eli.
Once again, Chet Holmgren in the lane. And that maybe was not advised. Trying to get them going.
And the coach is not happy with that.
Well, no, because the game isn't out of reach yet. You hand the ball right back to the Polars. And if Campbell, he wants that 3, finds Elamine instead. Again, North guarding it. They have to give it to Townley, and he misses.
Yeah, they're going to hold it.
And now they can put this, well, Jalen Suggs, he's not going to hold it.
Oh, he got a tech.
And Jalen Suggs still drawing at the North fence. If he's not careful, Lance Johnson's going to call a timeout.
He already got a tech.
And Lance Johnson calling a timeout, I think, to settle him down, because you saw he had a couple words to say to the North fans. And if Lance Johnson didn't call the timeout, he would have been thrown out of the game.
Yeah.
So North will shoot free throws as the fans file for the exits here. Suggs, in all likelihood, iced the game with that dunk, but
yeah, a lot
what
of
he
people
did after the dunk, I don't think is going to be appreciated by the Minnehaha coaching staff.
Oh, not at all. And he has to get that together before he gets on to the next level. Because we know he's going to the next level, he has to get that together. I know it's a lot of emotion in that. You have to get that together, though.
Well, it's exciting, to get that knockout blow, but you don't want to pour salt on the wound. Or to quote a line from the Mighty Ducks, score, don't spank.
I think Jalen's problem is the audience, the crowd. I noticed that he goes back and forth with the crowd. But
so Campbell to shoot the technicals.
I think that just woke everybody up.
Well, it did. Well, the North fans taking exception to it, and I don't blame them. So North will keep possession. 18.4 left, not enough time, I believe. So Suggs goes up to 33 with that dunk, but yeah, it was drawing a little too much.
He got his fourth
It's not
foul,
easy,
but
right? It's not easy when they come at you like that, as Campbell misses the long three. Suggs, he's not done. Tried to draw the foul and didn't get anything with it there. I don't think the officials, after what happened, they were going to, I don't know if there was contact or not, but I think officials just want to get this game over with. Minnehaha will hang on to the #1 ranking. Three-pointer for Willie Wilson, academic. North, they made a fight of it, but the Redhawks hang on for a 63-59 win. Jalen Suggs with 33. We saw a little bit of everything tonight.
Yeah. I think we should interview Jalen. See how he likes this win.
Well, see if we can get a word with him. We'll find out, but it's an emotional game. You expect that with these two. Couple of texts. North.
Not just Jalen, though. Eli, too. Eli had a great game.
And give them credit for fighting back, but again, it comes down to that execution late and the chemistry you spoke of in the first half.
Yeah.
Minnehaha having a little more of it, and I think that is the difference as North gathers at center court. What a game, Marshell. Only a Minneapolis North. So
Great intensity, though. It was great intensity.
And with that, the Redhawks win their 13th in a row. North, they drop back-to-back games. 63-59 is the final. This is high school boys basketball.